The internet did not make you better with money. It made you more anxious with better vocabulary. You learned dollar cost averaging index funds, Roth IRAs, lifestyle inflation, and high income, low net worth. You have the budgeting app, the spreadsheet, and the credit score you check too often. And still your account moves like weather. Up when nothing breaks, down when life remembers your address. A car repair, a holiday flight that costs more than planned, a forgotten subscription, a wedding invitation, a rent increase. Everyone called normal because everyone was too tired to admit it was not. Nothing was bad enough to call a crisis. Nothing was stable enough to call freedom. That is the quiet trap of modern money. You can be employed, responsible, informed, and still feel one ordinary month away from going backward. The most dangerous money advice in America sounds inspiring. Scale faster, post more, build the brand, upgrade the apartment, replace the car, buy the thing. Turn your life into evidence that you are winning. And when you are young, ambitious, and tired of feeling behind the noise, sounds like instruction. Until one Sunday morning in Scottsdale, Arizona, you are running on 2 hours of sleep and a cold brew that is not doing its job. You see a garage in front of a beige house with a cracked driveway. Folding tables sit under pale desert light. A dying succulent leans in a chipped pot. A bread maker is still in the box. Someone's old life is spread across the driveway with masking tape prices on it. You almost keep driving, but you stop. You always stop at the books. One book sits under a gardening manual. It costs $3, published in 1963. No Amazon listing. No Goodreads page. No audiobook with a studio voice. The author's name means nothing but a note. Says his grandchildren still receive quarterly checks from a quiet trust. The title is so plain you almost put it back. You do not put it back. You are 25. You have $24,000 in a high-yield savings account that you refresh like a browser tab. You earn $71,000 a year at a job that is fine, genuinely fine, in the way most things in your life are fine, and nothing in your life feels remarkable. You have a Roth IRA. You have a credit card with rewards. You optimize in a spreadsheet. You consume financial content constantly, nervously, with the feeling that one more piece of information will finally tell you what to do. Reels, threads, YouTube thumbnails of men pointing at numbers, podcasts where confidence is louder than evidence, short posts that turn anxiety into a checklist. You read the book in your car in the parking lot of a Sprouts outside Phoenix. It takes just under 2 hours. Your phone buzzes 11 times. You do not look at it once. The rules are not complicated. They are not new. They are the direct and quiet opposite of everything the algorithm has trained you to want since your first paycheck cleared. Before the first rule, the book makes one thing clear. This is not about being born into old money. It is about copying the behaviors that allowed money to survive longer than one generation. Old money in this story is not a bloodline. It is a refusal to let urgency govern your life. Old money rule 1. The principle does not exist to be spent. It exists to survive you. Everyone has told you to invest. Almost no one has told you what investing means across generations. It does not mean buying the dip because a stranger says the chart looks ready. It does not mean letting a number on a screen decide your mood on a Tuesday afternoon. It means identifying the pool of capital you will never liquidate, not in a market crash, not in a job loss, not when an opportunity feels certain, not because your friends are taking a trip or a higher salary makes a more expensive life feel reasonable. You do not touch the principle the way old families do not sell the land. You do not sell the land. You live from what the land produces. You sit with that thought for 10 days. At first it sounds severe, then it sounds true. Because if all of your money is available to every version of you, then the weakest version of you is always one bad evening away from voting against your future. So you move $13,000 into a brokerage account. You put it into a boring total market index fund. You set automatic contributions. You remove the app from your home screen. Then you do something you have never done with money before. You close the tab, and you do not open it again. The first month is uncomfortable not because you need the money, but because checking became reassurance. Watching the number move made you feel involved even when your involvement changed nothing. By the third month, you understand the sentence hiding behind the whole book. Compounding does not reward attention. It rewards the absence of interference. The money does not need you. It needs time. The shift is quiet, but permanent. You stop measuring what you have and start measuring what you have permanently decided not to touch. That is the difference between saving and building. Then the book turns to spending. Not because you are reckless, but because your spending has been more random than you wanted to admit. The book does not say live poorly. It says spend on things that endure. The difference between a $35 item that falls apart in 18 months and a $180 item you still use at 40 is not 140 files. It is the compounding distance between what you paid and what you would have kept. Old money is not allergic to spending. It is allergic to replacement. So you stop participating in the upgrade cycle. No announcement, no minimalist performance. You simply begin waiting. You wait before buying something that still works. You wait before ordering what you saw 3 times in your feed. You wait before treating desire as evidence. The waiting creates space. The space creates judgment. The judgment saves money without making your life feel smaller. Your savings rate rises even though your income does not. The machine was always visible. You had simply been standing inside it too long. Old money rule 2. Your income is not a personality. Stop wearing it. In 2026, the performance of financial arrival is so normal you stopped seeing it as performance. The apartment above your salary. The car that signals something. The dinners, trips, and wardrobe built partly for people silently calculating what your life must mean. You thought you were just living. Sometimes you were. More often you were buying evidence. Evidence that you had grown. Evidence that work was paying off. Evidence that you no longer had to check the price before saying yes. That is what makes lifestyle inflation so dangerous. It does not feel like waste. It feels like recovery. A coworker making $94,000 finances a Range Rover and speaks about the payment with tired pride. A friend moves into a Los Angeles neighborhood she cannot afford and calls it an investment in herself. Treat yourself. Life is short. You deserve it. Self-care. Best life. Some of it is true. That is what makes it dangerous. You keep driving the same car. It is 9 years old, has 87,000 miles, and the window makes a strange sound when it rains. But it gets you where you need to go. You stop apologizing for it. The first time someone jokes about the car, you almost explain yourself. You almost turn restraint into another performance. But you do not. You just smile. Something changes. People treat you differently not because you have demonstrated wealth, but because you have stopped demonstrating need. They read it as confidence. It is really the absence of maintenance anxiety. At 29, your principal is $44,000. Your salary has grown to $86,000. You have been doing consulting work on the side for 8 months. No brand colors, no content strategy, no posts about the journey. A former manager needed someone precise and reliable. You helped her. She mentioned your name to someone else. That was the entire funnel. Old money rule 3, your reputation is the only asset that earns interest in every market condition. This rule takes longer to understand because 2026 has replaced reputation with visibility. Visibility is followers' engagement rate and looking like someone worth paying attention to before you have given anyone a reason. That is not what the book means. The book means the answer to one question asked when you are not in the room. Can this person be trusted with something that matters? That answer is not built with a posting schedule. It is built across years of small decisions made correctly and quietly, the early deadline, the honest invoice, the uncomfortable truth, the promise kept when no one was watching. Your brand is what you say in public. Your name is what other people risk when they recommend you in private. You are offered $19,000 for 6 weeks of work. The client wants you to present findings you cannot fully verify as conclusions you are confident in. Nothing dramatic, just enough money to make dishonesty sound efficient. You say no. For 5 days you feel foolish. Then the discomfort passes. The clarity stays. You'll become known in small circles as someone whose word is load-bearing. In 2026, this is rare enough to feel like power. An introduction comes through a channel with no algorithm. A wealth management partner in Denver mentions your name to someone managing assets for a multi-generational family. They have a problem. You solve it without theater. The fee is $24,000. You type the number and almost lower it. Then you remember the rule. Do not discount competence because the old version of you is uncomfortable receiving evidence. They pay it in 8 business days. You do not post a screenshot. You do not turn the invoice into content. The money goes where money goes now. Into principal. The name begins to compound, silently, without a funnel, without a following. Old money rule 4. Time is the only input that cannot be borrowed, discounted, or replaced. You are 32. Your consulting income is $3,800 a month. Your principal is $67,000. The boundary now feels like architecture. You leave your salaried position on a Wednesday morning without ceremony. You send thank you notes to 3 people who shaped the way you work. There is no post, no announcement, no soft launch of independence. Old money does not announce transitions. It completes them and moves forward without looking back for applause. You purchase a 2-unit property in a secondary market in the Carolinas, not a featured market, not a content-friendly city. The cap rate is honest. The tenants are reliable. The numbers are not dramatic. That is why they work. You hold it. Then you begin making every significant decision with a 20-year frame. A fast dollar looks different when it costs you the attention required to build a slow asset. A public win looks different when you no longer need strangers to confirm that your life is becoming real. You turn down 3 opportunities in 2 years that would have generated cash quickly and consumed your attention entirely. You are not trying to win a conversation. You are trying to be financially stable in 2046. The long view changes what you notice. You stop reacting to every headline as if it is an instruction. You begin to see the cycle beneath the noise. You position for a slowdown before one arrives, not because you predicted it, but because your horizon was long enough that you were already holding something that would benefit. The position returns $41,000 over 16 months. You reinvest every dollar. You do not celebrate because the old version of you would have used celebration as permission to interrupt the result. At 39, your principal is $360,000. Your business earns $185,000 a year. You own 2 properties without debt. Your liquidity reserve is no longer measured in months. Markets still move, clients still pay late, appliances still break, family still needs help. Life still shows up without asking whether the timing works for your spreadsheet. But you are insulated from urgency. That is the real difference. Not luxury, not status. A floor, a real one. The kind that holds when the month gets loud. Old money rule 5. Never let them see the count. Not once. Not even close. The old money families worth studying are not the ones you see. The ones worth studying are the ones you never hear about, the families whose wealth survived depressions, wars, and entire economic restructurings. They share one visible quality: you cannot clock them. No watch that introduces itself before they do. No vehicle that makes a statement in the parking structure. No home that exists to communicate net worth to the neighbors. Not because they are indifferent to comfort, because they understand something most people take a lifetime to learn. Visibility is a tax. The visible wealthy attract the wrong attention. The pitch, the ask, the renegotiated friendship. The deal structured around the perception that you have capital available to lose. Invisibility is not humility, it is protection. The book says this plainly. The display of wealth is the first expenditure of the insecure. You wear a watch that cost $420. It tells time and speaks to no one about what you have. You are 42. Your net worth is $1.2 million. 3 people know that number. One of them prepared your taxes. You do not feel like the version of wealthy that 2026 produces and sells. You feel like someone living inside the result of 1,000 small, correct decisions. It feels less like an arrival and more like a terrain. Quieter than you expected. Slower. More permanent than anything you could have purchased. The algorithm is still running. Tonight, it is still selling urgency to someone who does not yet know they are being sold urgency. The advice still sounds inspiring. Scale faster. Post more. Buy the thing. Turn your life into proof that you are winning. Some people did find a faster way. Most are performing the finding, and the performance is the product. You have stopped watching. Not out of contempt. Out of irrelevance. The performance was never aimed at someone who already had a plan. Somewhere tonight, another 25-year-old is standing at a folding table in a Scottsdale parking lot holding a $3 book and reading the first sentence for the second time because it did not land right the first time. Capital is not chased. It is preserved. Everything else is noise. They will probably set it down. The phone has a notification, and the notification is warm and immediate, and the book is neither of those things. The noise is very loud in 2026. The quiet is very far from the screen. But if they take it, if they read past the first chapter, if the first rule becomes architecture instead of advice, if they stop spending to look established, protect their name when no one is watching, let time do what attention cannot, and stop showing the count to people who have not earned it. They will not become a different person. They will become a person with options, real ones. Not the kind the internet sells, the highlight reel, the year one, return, the number that photographs well, but compounds poorly. The other kind. The kind that holds when the market moves, when the month breaks open, and when everyone else is performing urgency while they're quietly already positioned. The book costs $3. The rules are free. The only price is the version of yourself that needed it fast.